Stop studying. Seriously, if you're studying the way most students do, you're wasting about 80% of your time right now. And the worst part, you have no idea it's happening. Ever pulled an all-nighter, crushed through 5 chapters, felt like a genius, then walked into the exam and your brain just buffered? Yeah, that's not bad luck. That's bad strategy. By the end of this video, you'll know how to study less, remember more, and actually enjoy the process. Let's fix this. Here's what's actually happening in your brain when you study. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water, but there are holes everywhere. You keep pouring, but most of it just leaks out. Frustrating, right? That's your current study method. You spend hours absorbing information, but your brain retains maybe 10 to 20% of it. The rest? Gone within days. And the worst part, you have no idea it's happening. And here's the brutal part. Most students don't realize they're studying wrong until it's too late, like years too late. So let's talk about the 3 massive mistakes killing your study sessions right now. Mistake number 1, highlighting and rereading. You know that satisfying feeling when you highlight half the textbook in neon yellow and think, I'm crushing it? Yeah, studies show that has a retention rate of about 10%. That means by next week, you'll forget 90% of what you just read. Your brain recognizes the words, sure, but recognition isn't understanding. It's not memorization. Think about it. If you watch the same movie 5 times, does that make you a filmmaker? No, you're just getting familiar with the story. Rereading is the illusion of learning. It feels productive, but it's basically brain cardio with no gains. Mistake number 2, cramming last minute. Let's be honest, we've all been there. It's 2 a.m., the test is at 9, you're 3 Red Bulls deep, and you're trying to shove an entire semester into your skull like you're closing an overstuffed suitcase. Sure, you might pass the test tomorrow, but in 3 days, most of that information is gone. Here's why. Your brain treats crammed information like spam emails. It immediately throws it in the trash because it knows you don't actually need it. You're forcing it in without giving your brain a reason to care. And if you think, well, I only need it for the test, cool. But the students who actually master the material, they're going to outperform you in class, in college, in their careers, every single time. Mistake number 3, passive studying. This one's massive. Most students just consume information, reading textbooks, watching lectures, listening to podcasts, and assume they've learned it. But here's a question. If you wanted to learn how to swim, would you read a book about swimming and then dive into the deep end expecting to be Michael Phelps? No, you'd drown. Yet that's exactly what passive studying is. You're reading about the material instead of actually doing something with it. Unless you engage by testing yourself, teaching it, or applying it, it will not stick. Okay, so if all that stuff doesn't work, what does? Here's the game changer. Studying isn't about how much time you spend, it's about how much you retain. Some students study for 3 hours and forget everything by tomorrow. Others study for 1 hour and remember it for life. The difference? How they study. Real learning happens when your brain is challenged, when it struggles, when it makes connections, when it has to retrieve information on its own. That's the secret. Retention greater than consumption. Stop mindlessly consuming, start actively retaining. Let me show you something called the learning pyramid. This one concept will change everything. At the bottom, reading, 10% retention, basically useless. Next is lectures, 20% retention, slightly better, still terrible. Watching demonstrations, 30% retention, getting warmer. But here's where it gets powerful. Practicing a concept, 75% retention. Teaching it to someone else, 90% retention. That means if you want to actually remember what you study, you need to stop passively reading and start actively recalling, teaching, and applying. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Strategy number 1, active recall. This is the nuclear option for studying. Instead of passively reading, you force your brain to pull information from memory. Here's how. The Feynman Technique. Pick a concept, teach it to a 5-year-old. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. When you get stuck, go back and relearn that part. Then refine your explanation until it's crystal clear. This works because teaching forces your brain to organize information, making it way easier to recall later. Self-quizzing. Don't reread your notes. quiz yourself using flashcards, past papers, or practice problems. Real study? Students who quizzed themselves before studying scored 50% higher on exams than those who just read their notes. Top students don't study more, they test themselves more. Strategy number 2, spaced repetition. Here's a wild fact. You forget 50% of what you learn within 1 hour. This is called the forgetting curve, and it's why cramming fails. But here's the hack. You can reverse the forgetting curve by spacing out your reviews. Instead of cramming everything in one night, do this. Day 1, learn the material. Day 3, quick 10-minute review. Day 7, self-test without notes. Your brain will remember it with way less effort because you're reinforcing it at the exact moment it's about to forget. And strategy number 3, make it a habit. The real challenge? Sticking to it. Most students procrastinate, get overwhelmed, or burn out. So let's fix that with 3 habit hacks. Hack number 1, the 2-minute rule. Instead of saying, I have to study for an hour, say, I'll just do 1 flashcard. Once you start, your brain shifts into might as well keep going mode. Psychology 101. Hack stacking. Attach studying to something you already do. After brushing your teeth, review 1 flashcard. After breakfast, do a 5-minute quiz. After dinner, summarize 1 concept in your own words. It becomes automatic. And hack number 3, the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of deep focus, 5-minute break. Repeat 4 times, then take a longer break. Your brain won't burn out and you'll actually enjoy studying. Here's the truth. Even the best study techniques won't help if you don't use them consistently. Most students cram for hours the night before and wonder why they forget everything. But the real secret, small daily effort beats last-minute panic every single time. So here's your challenge. Pick 1 technique from this video, just 1. Use it today. Active recall, spaced repetition, the Feynman technique, whatever feels right. Try it. See what happens. If this helped, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss a game-changing tip. Now go crush it. Study less, remember more.